All right. Well, welcome back. We're live. And welcome to the Two Alphas Talk Show. Today we're going to talk to you about cheap guns, holsters, and off the body carry. And before we talk about that, we're going to go ahead and talk to you guys about our sponsor. Our sponsor is Saber Team Tactical. As soon as I get this website up to share it. And let's go to the homepage, and at the top left corner, you'll go and click on classes, and we have an array of classes from there.
Yep. We offer classes one-on-one personal training formulated to your specific needs. So if you have a low left problem, we will straighten that out. So that's how we work it. We also do an adaptive training. So that means if you are already capable of hitting target at, say, 15, 20 yards, and you're working on something specific, like, say, magazine reloads or magazine exchanges or anything in particular, moving and shooting behind barricades, things like that, we will work with you specifically on that and get you squared away. Also, we have basic firearms training for self-defense. We have a class coming up on June 4th. That's going to be really good. We got a few spots left open for that. Semi-automatic rifle for self-defense, as you can see. Concealed carry medical class. That's a really good one. That's a stop the bleed as well. So we go on. We got a shotgun class coming up, a medical and rifle battle class. That is a lot of training, a lot of fun, a lot of rounds downrange, and you will get to understand the dynamics of trying to help someone as well as defend yourself. And we got a rifle and PCC class coming up, and rifle and tactical gear class, where you will learn everything that you have bought, whether it's worth it or not, because Al will let you know.
Oh yeah. So don't come out there with no cheap gear. Also, too, if you click on that tab right there, it says online store. It's take you to the online store. We got custom engraving. If you don't see anything you like in the custom engraving page, shoot me a text or an email, and I will make anything custom for you. We also got the Saber Team swag page. You can get anything on there. We have we sell pepper spray locally. Body armor, plates, and plate carriers, and soft body armor, ballistic helmets, and personal injury medical supplies. The biggest seller right now is the Cat 7s and the Israeli bandages. So if you need anything like that, look me up, hit me up, and we'll go from there. All right. Let's get into the show.
All right, and we talk about cheap guns, right? Everybody, especially in the state of Georgia, currently right now, the law has changed, but it hasn't fully changed. So we don't have to pay a fee in order to exercise the Second Amendment right in the state of Georgia, but you do have to have equipment, personally, and most importantly, firearm guns. So when we talk about cheap guns, we talk about guns that are not necessarily cheap in price. Like, for example, the Canic or the Janik. Great gun, economically priced, um, you know, fantastic customer service. Um, they had some issues with the gun. The gun was brought back to them. They redesigned the magazines, all that stuff. They're working forward to make sure that the gun is in proper order, that you get a good product. But there are guns out there that are cheap, and whether you buy them secondhand, which I found to be a great resource to buy guns from somebody else, because every gun, if it's properly kept, more than likely will outlive the owner 3, 4 times lifetimes over. So what we're talking about are guns that are subpar in quality, right? I'm not going to name them. I know. Yeah, I see my partner sitting over there penciling. I'm not going to say no damn names. Those of you that know me know my favorite
Uh,
one that I keep my
well,
tetanus shot updated
we
for.
can't say. I don't want to say if we say anything bad about them. I don't want
No,
to use their
no.
name.
I
But if
mean,
we say anything good and praise them, yeah, go ahead and use their name. Yeah. So I just want to remind everybody we're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, and we are on YouTube live. So Also, this is a call-in live show. The number is 446920561. If you want to call in and talk, you can also chat on each of the streams, and we will see your chat. And if your chat's appropriate, we'll put it on air, and the audience will see it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, when we talk about it, I mean, everybody has to get in where they fit in, right? So, on average, some of the major manufacturers that we all can spout off at the drop of a dime, on average, you got to pay $500 or more to get a quality firearm. You know, the was it the five-letter perfection word? That one. Those guys, it's $500. You know, for anywhere between 9 millimeter, 40 cal. Some people like 10 millimeter. You know, whatever it is that you're going to buy. You start talking about 1911 variants, and you're already at $1,000 mark. You know, there's some of the newer versions out there making a 1911 format, and you can find them in the 400s. But still, you're talking about $400. We're giving you, and we've had this discussion before. There's a price point that you gotta like stop at, and that's around 300, $325, somewhere in that area. And once you go lower than that, unless it's a used gun or you're getting a deal from some type of estate sale, or somebody owes you some money and they're gonna give you a $700 gun because they owe you 200 and they just want to stop cut this relationship short, something like that. Other than that, when you start paying $189, I'm being specific for a reason. 189. Look that gun up. You'll see what I'm talking about. When you're paying 189, you're getting a subpar item. You're getting a subpar pistol, and you don't know the reliability on it. And I know I've seen the videos with the 5,000 rounds and the gun caught on fire or whatever it was, and 5,000 rounds is pretty extensive. The problem is that's 1 in 1 million. That's the key. That's not on average. That's not every gun. And of course, nobody's going to try every gun out of the box and go 5,000 rounds with it. But you have to get quality. You have to get quality. We've said before in the past, save your money. Unless you live in a war zone, there's no need that you need a gun right now. Save your money and buy quality. What's the old saying? Cry once, buy quality, cry once, something like that. Do that. Because when you buy cheap stuff, you wind up buying more and more and more cheap stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a fact. When you buy cheap, you end up buying fake cheap stuff. I'm testing my my audio sounds. Yeah, if my audio don't sound good to you guys, let me know in the chat. So if you buy cheap guns, what's going to end up happening? Like Al was saying, you spend $180 and you realize that gun don't work. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to go out and spend another $500, which you could have been spending that $180 into some training or some ammunition or some holsters or some gear for that equipment. But now you just double down. Thanks, Reggie. And so you just double down, and now you just spent twice as much of what your budget allowed. And now you're stuck with this cheap gun because you go to sell it back to whoever you bought it from, that what they're going to do is say, I give you $50 for it. You know what I'm saying? And now that's what's going to end up happening. You're going to be like, wow, I'm stuck with this thing. I don't want to carry it. I don't want to use it because it has failure rate or something happened to it. Now you're just stuck with this junk. You know what I'm saying? So only thing you can do is hope for when they do a buyback in your state, hopefully you can get you a $75 or $150 gift card at Applebee's or something like that, you know? Then you can go get your money back from it, you know?
Right. But, one of the things that we've always said is that you get what you pay for. And it does not only just go with guns, but also optics. So, not Wish, but the other one. There's another company. They're making some headway.
Alibaba.
They're like companies out of the country that are actually selling Chinese knockoffs.
Well, they're all Chinese stuff. All that stuff is coming from China. Here we go, right here. Glock police trade-ins are the best value for the money below $300. Yes. $300 to $400 price range for the 9mm and the 40 cal. Yes, I had bought a remember the old 38s police police trade-ins. I bought one for 100 and I think it was $150, and it was great. So you can get some good deals that way.
Well, the gun that I'm most, I guess, it gives me my most acclaim for the local guys is my Beretta 92 FS, and that was a
Yeah,
buyback gun.
I still need to get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
If Al ever falls asleep on the range, I'm gonna knock him in the head and run off with that because that thing is a sweet pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It is, and it got plenty of rounds to it. One of the things that also with the police buybacks, no knock on police officers. They got 101 things to do on a regular basis, right?
they don't
So
shoot a
most of them
lot.
don't shoot it that much. So you're
Right.
getting a gun that doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on it. It's been carried. It may have some holster burns on it, but other than that, the internals and all that. And then like if you buy it from Glock and you live in Georgia, you slide through
Take it down there and
Swingers
have them service
and they'll service that gun like it was brand
for
new.
free. For free.
But I think
And
we live here in the state of Georgia where Glock resides. But I think most major manufacturers, do the same thing. If you explain to them where you got it, they'll take it and they'll give you some new springs and all of that.
yeah, Smith and Wesson model 64 police trade-ins 38s below 300 for a revolver. Yep, exactly. And those are
And
some
that's a good
excellent.
price. Yep,
Yeah,
they'll last several lifetimes. As
yeah,
long as
excellent
you
guns.
operate it and keep it in operational form.
Hmm.
Clean it every once in a while. And I mean, you don't even have to baby it. You just got to clean it
Right.
every once in a while, wipe it down, and they're gonna live forever.
See, I should have bought 2 of those when I bought them at the time, but I wasn't thinking. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So, but now I'm end up paying a little more if I go back because I want to get a couple more revolvers,
Right.
and I don't own enough of them, and but I want to get some and put them in my collection.
Hmm.
And but I,
Right. One of the things that I always hear, people say revolvers don't jam, and for the most part, is what we consider a jam is not. But whenever a revolver goes down, it's more than likely catastrophic. If that plunger comes out or that cylinder gets out of timing, you would be hard pressed to get that gun to shoot. So
right,
I heard that, but I'm from the ancient era when all we
yeah,
had was revolvers.
slingshots.
So, exactly. So
Right.
that's the era of when you recognize that these guns, if you don't treat them properly, they will mess up. They will mess
And
up.
yeah, because a revolver don't get a stovepipe, a revolver don't get a double feed.
Hmm.
But if you do get the cylinder out of time with the hammer, then you will have a problem.
Yep.
So you always have to keep it in time. So if
Hmm.
you can get it out of time by what is that? The double clutching of the trigger,
Yep.
and it will get it out of time. So
Hmm.
just make
And
sure
one of
you
the things I see all the time on the line when people shoot a double action revolver, they always pull that hand back. As soon as I see somebody do that, and we're saying 7 yards away, and they gotta cock it back, I already know the person can't shoot it. I already know.
didn't the Cowboys do that when they quick
Yeah,
draw?
but that
Remember
was
Sammy
single
Davis
action
Jr.?
gun. Right,
That was
that's single
single.
action gun. These are double
Okay,
action guns.
right.
See?
That's-
Right.
yeah, revolvers are like watches. Everything must line
Hmm.
up precisely. Which is true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know Theron, and he's from that ancient era too, with flintlocks. So he knows, and
Flintlock.
guys that were carrying guns back in the '80s, and if I remember right, he still carries a revolver from time to time.
Yeah.
I think he's a chief special somewhere in one of those 36 series guns with 5 shots, but it's a backup. And
Okay.
I remember one night we were having a conversation, and he crossed his ankles, and I look over and I'm like, holy
Oh, he
moly,
had
he's
an
got
ankle
an ankle.
holster.
He had an ankle holster on, yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Oh,
but
5 shot
that's somebody.
38, right?
Yeah, 5 shot 38, and I believe he
Right.
had he's a 49 guy. So sometimes he does a 40, sometimes he's 9. So he's either a 22 or 19. I can't remember the other one. But
Okay.
that's the same thing also about cheap guns. When we say cheap, we're talking about quality,
Yeah.
not necessarily price, because
Right.
most
There's a
people,
difference.
right? If my man Tim comes on tonight, he'll tell you when it comes to pennies and pinching, I'm pretty good with that. I'm pretty good with
Mm-hmm.
penny pincher. So I always look for deals. I always look for a deal. I'm not trying to beat somebody over the head or anything, but at the same time, I want to get
Now,
quality and get the most out of your money.
now, let me go ahead and talk about, because it's a couple of gun stores that are advertising
Mm-hmm.
some very cheap guns, and these guns are they're not made in the United States. They're made in Italy, they're made in Greece, and all these other countries. Be aware of buying those firearms because the manufacturer is not in the United States. You
Right.
don't know the reputation of these firearms. And if you look them up on YouTube and do your homework and research, because you may go in there and say, okay, they may have a shotgun that's under $200. I can get this shotgun. But this shotgun, you go out and put some rounds through it, and you're gonna end up breaking a trigger, you're gonna end up breaking a firing pin, and nobody locally can work on that gun. So
Right.
now you got to send it overseas, which is going to cost you more than what the gun is actually worth.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've had
it's
a couple of people who told me that same thing what you're saying. They send the gun overseas, and 6 7 months later, and they have
it
no
comes back.
word from the manufacturer.
So they lose it.
Yep, and
Yeah.
they get ignored, and
Right.
they acknowledge receipt of the gun, they have it,
Hmm.
but they just and some are better than others, and some are still evolving and getting better. One in particular in Brazil, they've come a long way from when I first heard of them in the '80s and the '90s to today, where they make copies of other guns and they don't give a damn. Once they
Right.
get your money, thank you, and that's it.
Right.
That's
Right.
all you're gonna get. But they have come a long way with their customer service.
So try to buy from an American manufacturing company. So somewhere you can send your firearm in and get it
Or at least
repaired.
one with American presence. Beretta is an Italian company, but they Beretta USA.
Yeah. Or like
What's the
HK,
other one?
Beretta.
HK, right?
Right.
There's a lot of them out there. Even the Turkish shotguns and handguns that are out there right now.
Ithaca. Ithaca's not in the United States.
I think Ithaca is. I think it was American made. I was thinking more of SAR. SAR,
Oh, okay.
they're made at, but they have imports here. The company out
Manufacturer
of
base. They had a manufacturer base here, right?
right, and they also have an importer. The one everybody doesn't like, the AK that's down in Florida. That
Oh,
company is importing it
Kalashnikov.
too.
No, that's a Kalashnikov.
Century Arms, what I'm
Oh,
talking about.
Century. Oh, yeah,
Century,
yeah.
but at least they have a United States presence. You know what I mean?
Oh,
When
okay.
you could send it to Florida as opposed to trying to get it to Turkey.
Right, right.
That's a big plus.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of good websites out there that have some good firearms too.
Hmm.
If you're not on the mailing list for Palmetto Arms, something's wrong with you.
Right.
Because they have some of the best firearm sales around. And
Hmm.
but the thing of it is, when you do get that email and it comes through and it shows that price of that firearm, because they manufacture their own stuff now, and when it shows that price, you cannot hesitate and wait a week or a day or two because it's going to be sold out. So
Right.
you need to jump on it immediately if you have the funds to do it. You know,
And I will say the same thing that what's WKG? What he said? Police
right?
trade-ins.
Yeah,
Police
police
trade-ins.
trade-ins.
You can't go wrong. I'm telling you, you
Right.
can't go wrong. In some cases, if you look, I don't remember the exact company, but if you look, there are 2 and 3 magazines with the gun. At one point in time, they were pushing a lot of the 40s when the law enforcement went from 40 back to 9 millimeter. There were 40s all over the place. See,
Right.
and right, Taurus now is in Bainbridge, Georgia,
Right.
and
There you go.
and and they have a really decent, as he said, excellent budget gun with excellent warranties, and they honor
Hmm.
the warranties. It's one
Right.
thing for somebody to tell you that they have a warranty, and it's will they honor that warranty? That's the
Right.
key.
Right.
And you can look on the forums, and you'll see who honors their warranty and who just lip service.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, do your research. Buying a
Hmm.
firearms just like buying a car.
Yep.
Do your research, do your homework, do YouTube. It's the best place to go. Then
Hmm.
start reading the pages, reviews, feedbacks, and stuff on the firearms. And they will tell you, people will tell you right up to, and then go to the ranges and rent those firearms for $10, whatever they got to rent for. Put a box of rounds through it, get the feel of it, see if you like it, put it in your hand. and go from there before you actually just go out and see it and you purchase. Now, guys like us, we know what we like, we know what we feel. We don't need to do all that. But for somebody who don't have a lot of experience with firearms, yes, they need to go out and do all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And when you come train with us, I train people to understand a gun is a gun. Any gun will do if you're willing to do it. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have people who come in and they don't like Glocks or they don't like this gun, they don't like that gun. Gun's a gun. What you need to understand is the sight picture, sight alignment, and trigger. After that, it doesn't matter which gun it is. Seriously.
Right.
I mean, I prefer double action, single action, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Military surplus, yes, but you can't get that many good handguns in military surplus. I know it's a big array in rifles and probably some old just shotguns, the MP shotguns, but handguns. What they got rid of the Berettas a while back, and so those guns are actually they're already cycled out through. Everybody bought those out, and so now mostly coming through unless you
I'm trying
can
to remember
find.
that company. When you just said that, there's a company on online, and I get their emails. They get some.
You talking about that company in North Carolina, right?
It's
a warehouse.
Black.
Yeah,
yellow and black sign. Yeah,
it's in North Carolina, and they deal with a lot of military surplus, and the prices are killer. And
they're sold out, like you said. You said earlier. By the time you get the email, it's already half the inventory is gone.
Yeah, it's selling out like hotcakes because a lot of collectors are buying that stuff and just grabbing it up, and they get the stuff in by the cases.
Yeah,
and,
that's the company I was thinking about.
Yeah, and they're on YouTube too.
Yep, right. That's them. And the other thing with them is that they have it by grade, so they use the NRA used firearm grading system. So it's like I think it's an A and a double A and a triple A, something like that.
And that's how according you pay for the price.
Right. Yeah. And then they also do that thing where if you pay a little bit extra, they'll make sure that you get a decent one with 2 magazines.
Yeah, hand pick one out for you.
There you go. That's it. Hand pick.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So there's options out there other than settling for. Exactly. The only thing that I have, I'm not gonna say against. The only thing I have with other than the CZ and the other two and Walther, but Stars and Makarovs is trying to find ammunition and magazines.
Right. Yeah.
Magazines are really hard. The CZ and the Walters, they've come a long way, and especially Walther, I think, is part of Smith and Wesson now.
And remember Walther remade the old 32, so they brought it back. So
and some of those calibers are off too, because if you don't get a Makarov in 9mm Luger and you get one of those 9x19s. Or 9x18, should I say? You be
it's
for
9x19, 9x18. Yeah,
9x18.
Yeah, it's 9x18. Yeah.
So I stick to what I know, and that way I can start to master it instead of trying to figure out everybody else's stuff. I don't need to know about all that. I don't need to know that there's a 7.62 39, a 7.62 something pistol. I think it's in Makarov era. I don't need to know that.
Yeah. So Stars and 9mm Makarovs.
Right, but the ones, if you can find them, there's a lot of those Makarovs and Stars and with no magazines available.
See, he's speaking from his own collection. He's probably sitting there looking at a bunch of them right now. I know what's going on. You're like, I got a whole bunch of them. I don't
know. Exactly.
Oh man. So and that segues into what are you going to carry it in? What type of holster are you going to carry it in? He's looking at his own collection.
Exactly.
Yep.
You read that one.
So are you going to carry it in something leather? You're going to carry us new timers, Kydex. Back in the 80s, everybody was into that nylon stuff that you was bought from the gun shows and stuff. Remember that stuff?
Yeah.
Man, that stuff was horrible, dude. Put your gun in and you're gonna be flipping out if you bend up.
and what about that strap? It wasn't what do you call it?
Yeah. Let me show some.
It wasn't even a thumb brake. It was a strap.
No, it was a strap. Let me show some pictures real quick. Then you got these. You got these. Remember, you guys remember some of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me know if this page flips over. Did it flip
No,
over?
it changed to the next one. Yeah, the
Oh, it
single
did. Okay.
with the
There's one with the
magazine
strap.
pouch in the front on the same side as the gun.
Right. There it
Right.
is.
So if you
Those
wore
were,
that, go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah, those are the ones they sold at the gun shows.
Yep.
Every booth had those, and they were like $6.
Yep. Exactly. And
Everybody.
dude, imagine putting that inside the waistband because it's a dual purpose. It has a little clip that comes with it. If you see right there where you're pointing,
Right.
there's a little clip that goes underneath that, so you can put it inside your
Oh,
waistband or
but
put it on outside your belt.
but you can also swap it and turn. It's on the
And
same thing on
left
the other
out.
side. It's
Yep.
left or it's dual, so you can do left or right. And
Right.
these here, these are just
That's horrendous, dude. But
oh,
you know, at the time, that was cutting edge. When you go back to say 86, 84, 85, somewhere around there, look at some of the old movies like Adam 12 and any of those old sitcoms with police, The Rookies. They were wearing that. That was SWAT level equipment back then.
that was down. That was the style. Yes, yeah, SWAT level equipment.
Right.
You're right.
That was the SWAT team
You're
was
right.
wearing those things, man. And
Yeah, they
we
had
look
the
at it today and go,
yeah.
what the hell?
And that's why everybody was buying it because of the nylon. Remember, it was all black, and they had the nylon
Well,
pouches.
you know, if you paint it black and call it, you can just call it tactical.
Who was painting it?
So like, as long as you paint something black, you can
Oh
call
yeah,
it
you
tactical.
paint it black, you call it
Yeah.
tactical. Yeah,
Especially
and
police officers.
they had all that gear, and everybody wanted it. The magazine pouches, and I hated the magazine pouches because
Oh,
the stuff
dude.
always fell out.
And
You've
that
been over
Velcro
on
was like industrial level Velcro.
yeah. Well, my Velcro always got clogged up with dust. You know what I'm saying? And
What
then it
about the
wouldn't work
snaps?
anymore.
Remember those directional snaps where you had to put it? There was a little button on the one
Right.
side, and you had to put it directly in.
Right. You had to
The
turn
wind
it.
had to blow at 44
Yeah.
degrees at at
Get it on.
33. Yes, it
Right.
was like, oh,
and then
this
when
is
you're trying to get it off, you yank it straight up, it won't come off. So you had to
No.
turn it and yank it
Yep.
off.
So
It
I
was
used
like-
to take the belt out my pants to get the holster off, and then I could just work that directional snap with two thumbs and just pop it up. But otherwise, I couldn't get it off. I mean, it was great for security reasons, but
Right.
you know, if you ever needed that gun out of there, you make sure that thing is lined up properly.
Yeah. So I went back and forth with well, I went leather first because a lot of old timers all saying go leather, and I went to leather, and I was like, it was too flimsy. You know, every time you go to put it back in there, you always had to spread the leather open to get it back in there. And so then I started doing these nylon, and I was like, these things were disaster, man. And I'm so glad when Kydex came out. When Kydex came out, that was like it was like
It revolutionized the
it changed everything. But the first wave of Kydex was horrible. Remember that? You would get it and your holster be flat.
Yep.
After
Or
a while.
you heard that like empty pail bucket sound when you put the gun in.
Right.
It was like a kid's bucket because it was just so plasticky, and a metal gun going in and out of it. It just made too much noise. I think it was Safariland that started it with the laminate, and then they had the plastic or the Kydex frame, and then they laminated the outside with some type of leatherette, especially for duty holsters for police officers. And then they made all kind of Rogers, who designed all of those different what's it called the hood and the different
the locks,
the ALS system and all of that.
Yeah, the double locking system, the triple locking system.
If I remember correct, yeah, that was at the different levels of retention. So you got the retention where you just put it in there and it's just grip force, and that's like a 1. Then 2 is if you had to activate a thumb brake, and then 3 is if you had to do 2 things at the same time in order to get it out. Man, there was so many holsters at one point in time. They had like a thumb brake, an index finger brake, and then you had to rock the gun. You might as well just gunfight, dude. Just fight. Ain't no need to shoot him. Just fight him. By the time you get the gun out, it's over anyway.
Yeah, but those holsters, man. I didn't have a mentor back then, and I was just going to the gun shows, and the only thing I had was a bunch of military guys, and they didn't know anything about holsters either. Right. So we was just going to gun show, get this holster, get that. So I ended up with a whole duffel bag with a damn couple of damn holsters over all
Right.
the years I traveled around the United States with, and these things I got about a few of them left. I haven't thrown them in the trash yet, but I'm
Hmm.
trying to figure out what to do with them.
Right.
And it's just ridiculous, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I even had that. Remember that military Bianchi holster that it came out with the 1911 that the military had? It can either ride high or ride low,
Yeah.
and you
Hmm.
yeah, I had one of those. I was like, man, the damn thing, it doesn't. As soon as you take if you didn't have the holster strap on it, and if you lay down or lean back, your gun
Right.
falls completely out.
Hmm. Well, as you said about mentors, I had great mentors, right? But my mentors were probably 20 years my senior. So they already were settled. I was a broke joke as a 21, 24-year-old kid hanging around these guys. So I got to get their things that they had already tried at a reasonable
Oh, okay.
price. So my best holster, my favorite holster of all time is a Don Hume. And I don't ask me the model of it, but it was a Don Hume holster, and it was almost like a Yaki, like that Yaki slide, where the good thing about it was I could put more than one gun in it, more than one design. So if I tighten it up, it would actually hold my revolver. If I loosen it up, my first semi-automatic was a Smith & Wesson like 6953 or something like that. It was not the stainless one, so it was probably 5963 because the six meant that it was a stainless steel.
Hmm.
But anyway, that holster served me well, and I mean it served me. If I look for it, I don't remember ever giving it away unless somebody decided they needed it more than I do. I still have that holster. I mean, it's quality, but again, we're talking about 1986
Hmm.
and 88, somewhere in those days, and about $100 then. It probably maybe $85 to
Yeah,
pay for that
yeah,
holster. They did,
and
and I probably bought it for 40.
and that's what the problem was. Leather holsters were so expensive. You
Yep.
had to save up to get a leather holster
Hmm.
kit. The Bianchi
Or
kit.
have good mentors. And I'll tell you,
Hmm.
those guys, again, I'm 20, they're 40, so they had, they were settling their life. So they had money to, spend. I didn't have no money to spend. I
Right.
was dealing with every day, trying to just make sure I got a fresh pack of ramen noodles.
Right. And remember when the Bianchi came out with the shoulder holster, the
Oh
all leather shoulder
man,
holster? That thing was
yes,
200 and something dollars,
I
man.
got one. I got one
You
of the
got
ones
one?
made by, is it Galco? The one that the Miami Vice made famous. I got that one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's the one where you pull down, the gun will pull down. Yeah. I think I had one of those too.
Hmm.
I think I got it at a gun show or something like that.
Yep.
And I
I,
don't know
I
if I
spent
still got
exactly what you said. There was a guy
it.
that
Yeah.
was selling. He was a dealer, and he gave it to me at his cost. Another mentor kind, and he
Mm-hmm.
gave it to me at his cost, and it was 200. I'm telling you, I
Yeah.
remember
200.
190, 191, 92, because I counted them all out and was
Right.
hurting as I was giving it to him, like 198, 99, 200.
But then but then you had Uncle Mike that came out right after that
Oh man.
and sold that one. What was it? $69 for that shoulder holster
That's
rig.
it, Galco, the Galco
Yeah.
Miami Classic. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Galco.
And I have
Yeah.
it with I have two magazines. It's for my Beretta 92 FS. Two
Mm-hmm.
magazines. I think I wore it all of 12 times.
Right.
And I
Because
mean,
you always
but I had to have it.
yeah, it looked
Hmm.
good. It's
Yep.
just, me carrying illegal.
There we go.
you,
There
you,
we
can,
go.
you can only carry wearing a jacket, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Hmm.
But you can only carry in the wintertime. So
Right.
other than that, you couldn't carry, so
I mean, it's a great holster, quality wise, but at that time is when I was starting to really come into self defense with firearms. And when you draw, and everybody to your left, if you're right-handed drawer,
get
everybody to your
muzzled.
left gets flagged. At
Right.
that point, it's like, yeah, this is not gonna work.
Yeah, because that was the thing. Because the barrel be pointing backwards like that, and
Hmm.
everybody
That
talking.
too.
You're muzzling everybody. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking
Right.
about? Look at your muzzle.
Yep.
You're
And
like,
think about this. Currently I watch people, right, and I see a lot of the new people getting involved, and we still love you, regardless of what I'm about to say, we still love you. You're working on it. Cross draw.
oh, cross
New
draw.
people
Yeah.
cross draw. This guy, well, not only did he have a cross draw, but he just had the gun shoved in his waistband. It was at a
Oh,
racetrack.
really?
Just had the gun shoved in
He
his
didn't have
waistband.
no
Nope, nope,
retention on that. Uh,
nothing over the trigger guard.
so he
And
was a real he was
this
a
is
real
when,
criminal.
well, no, we're
He
in
was
Georgia.
legit.
Yeah,
He's
we're in
legit.
Georgia now, dude. Okay, there's another one that I wanted to bring up. We were talking about off-body carry. That's going to kind of
Oh,
cross
well,
over
hold
with
on.
you.
Before we do that, let's go and talk about our sponsor real quick.
That sounds
And
great.
yeah, let's do that. And we're gonna take a quick emission. Don't go anywhere. This show is live. You can call in 404-692-0561. We're broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook at this time. And what we're gonna do is and at this time, we're going to talk about our sponsors and what we have to offer. And here we have our classes that are coming up immediately the next couple of months. You can go ahead and take it away out.
Yep, the weather's getting great. We got nice sunny days here in Georgia, and you can sign up for any one of our classes from basic firearms training for self-defense. Semi-automatic rifle will get you ready. The semi-automatic rifle class will get you ready. A lot of people have asked us about the PCC and rifle class and the rifle and medical class, and they're a little nervous because their skills are not up. Semi-automatic rifle for self-defense will get you there. We go through 101 different drills to get you familiar and comfortable with the rifle. Get you locked in. Work on sights. If you have an optic and you don't know how to sight it in, or your optic is not sighted in, you don't have the distance at your local range, we'll get you in. We'll get you locked in so that wherever that gun is pointing, wherever you see that dot, you'll have confidence that you can make your shots.
And also, we got a class coming up June 4th for the basic firearms and training self-defense. And the next class in June is June 19th for the shotgun self-defense class. Mm-hmm. Those are two excellent classes. Keep those posted on your calendar, and we'll see you guys on the range.
See you on the range, guys.
All right, let's go ahead and go back into what we were talking about, off the body carry. You said you had
what I was saying is with a cross between holsters and off body carry is that people don't understand you have to have something covering that trigger. You have to, because this is how most people reach for things. Whether you're grabbing a grocery bag, grabbing the car handle on the door, you're opening your door to your house. We all use this, right? So when you reach for a gun, trust me, this is all happening at the same time. Some people call it accidental discharge, or some people call it negligent discharge. Regardless, accidental discharge, all of those are the same. All of them are the same. They can be prevented if you give a trigger guard. You don't have a trigger guard and you reach for that gun and you snatch it, you're more than likely going to set that gun off. Because if you squeeze that trigger and you didn't intend to, the gun is going to go off, because the gun is going to do what it's supposed to do. Most modern firearms, and I say most, that are in operable working condition will not fire unless the trigger is pulled. You can throw it against a brick wall. You can drop it out of a 7, 8, 10-foot building, drop it off a skyscraper. The gun will not fire unless you pull the trigger. So when you don't have a trigger guard and you have a gun loaded in a bag or a purse or in your pocket, that's the one I was going to tell you. I've seen several people with their gun just in their pocket. Across the board. When I say across the board, I'm not talking about, your ne'er-do-wells. I've seen people who you would think would have better sense, and they still have the gun just shoved in their pocket with no trigger guard. That's
matter of fact, you posted something today about some clown had a gun in his in his pocket, and it went off. He was at the cash register and had his key.
He was working as a cashier.
He was working as a cashier, had a gun in his pocket. Gun goes off,
Yep.
blows his leg. It didn't damage him, but you can see he had blood on the gun, so he got hurt somewhere.
It's
And
what do you call those? We used to say it when we was kids. They did it on TV all the time. Just grazing. Just
oh yeah,
grazing, right?
and you can see the keys stuck in the trigger guard, but
Yep.
you can also see the marijuana he was smoking too. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that first.
I
Yep.
was like, well, yeah, that's the
What do you
reason why.
expect? Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you can't use drugs and firearms at the same time, whether it's
no,
alcohol or marijuana, cocaine, whatever it is. Drugs and guns don't mix.
no.
Whether it's liquid drugs or some kind of powder or you rolling it
Or
in
just
and
smoking.
smoking it,
Yeah,
it
it,
just can't.
keep a clear mind when you're messing
Right.
with firearms.
Exactly.
Uh,
You have to. You can't be impaired.
Now, off the body carry, a lot of people carry. I noticed a lot of guys, these new generation dudes are carrying the firearms in these man purses that they carry. Remember the man purses back in the
Yeah.
day?
What's that thing called? The fanny pack has made its way back.
Well, yeah, but now they're carrying them off the
It's the
body.
same thing. They just carrying
Yeah,
it on. It looks manly here instead of
or
wrapped
the
around their
Gucci
waist.
bags or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where they're keeping the gun. So it's a
Yep.
cross draw. They're keeping the firearm there, and so that's so they can still wear tight clothes, but they can carry this firearm in a Gucci bag. And
Ah,
it is to me. I just rather just change my clothes and get baggy. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And um,
But I think what happens is it's also generational, so that
yeah,
when you deal with that, the Reggies thought that was funny with the tight
yeah.
clothes, and
Well, you know
we've
it too. You see these cats all the time with the skinny jeans and the tight t-shirts trying to show all their muscles and stuff off.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's like, what the hell?
Yeah, and but at the same time, one of the things about the off body carry that I don't like is that if it's in a bag, and say you leave the bag around, we're gonna be the nice way. You leave the bag down, you take it off to do say some
Or
kind
you
of
got to take it
financial
off to use the
exchange.
bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or get the money out to pay. Yeah,
yep.
something like that.
And you get up and you go, or as you just said, you get the money out. As you get the money out, the gun falls out
Right.
because you got 101 other things in there, right? So
Right.
those are things that you need a solid holster on your waistline and stick with that. The other thing is people target that, all right, and they
Yeah.
may not target it because they know a gun's in it. They may just want your wallet and your cash. They snatch the bag and now they have your
And now they
wallet,
got
your
your gun.
cash, your keys, and your gun,
Right.
right? So that's why
They know
off-body
where you
carry is not
live,
good
know your car and everything. Yeah.
for a tactical sense. This is why off-body carry is not good. You're trying to go somewhere, right? You got the gun underneath your front seat. You get out the car and you go into something, and when you get there, all of a sudden you're confronted with all hell broke loose,
And you just realize the guns
and
under
the
your front
gun's still
seat.
in the front seat.
That's
So
right. You just
that's why
forgot.
I'm not a proponent
Right.
of off-body
See,
carry.
off-body carry for guys, they're not used to carrying purses. So for a guy to understand and realize, okay, I'm gonna put all my valuables in this fanny pack or purse, and now I got to carry this thing everywhere I go. Just put it on your body, around your waist, wear some baggy clothes. I know you can't look all Gucci and stuff with baggy clothes, but at least you have your self protection is with you all the time, and it's going to feel so comfortable if you got a good holster that you
Right.
almost forget you have it there.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Exactly.
there's another off body carry a lot of people are doing with the backpacks, and they're keeping like collapsible ARs, rifles in those bags, and they end up those bags are they're quick, they're designed for that gear.
Right.
So they can flip it around, they can get that gear out, and they're buying. And the backpacks nowadays are being made in colors that are not. They don't look military at all.
Okay.
Yeah, they look like civilian backpacks, and so they're getting away from the OD green and the coyote and all that stuff. The black, they're in blues, reds, orange. And people don't pay any attention to them. They're a neutral color.
That's good.
So. Yeah, those I don't have any problems if you want to do that. And if you practice deploying that bag around and getting it, and some of those guys are actually pretty good doing it. But just remember, if you're in a situation where you don't have that time to do the flipping and the carrying on.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Right. Yeah. It's about $200 or $300 for that backpack. And it's made. I think the one you're talking about is from California. It's made by. One I'm talking about is from California. It's made by veterans, and
but it's like a go bag for active shooters.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, yeah. But if you are not practicing with that thing and you can't get it out, it still is going to put you at odds if somebody was to come up on you with a knife or a baseball bat and say, "Give me what you got."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
that's one of those places where you got to run into the phone booth, which we don't have anymore.
phone
And
booth.
then
We don't have any phone, and
that's what
then
I
the
said.
phone
We don't.
booth always smell like urine.
Well,
So,
that too, but it's almost nowadays you got to run into a urinal. Flip
right.
your vest over, put there's two clips on each side, clip them in together, and then make sure your extendo rifle is put together properly.
Right. Yeah, it was one guy I saw a video. He had his rifle in his backpack. He had to flip the backpack off, put the rifle on the ground, put it together. Then he engaged. That was about what 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
or
dude,
longer. Hmm.
yeah, it's like, what are you doing? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Why even go through carrying all that heavy gear? Just put a secondary gun on you, a pistol, and just roll with it. Learn how to use it, and there you go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, a lot of people think they're going to be that dun dun dun. I'll save the day, as
Right.
opposed to get the hell out of here and save as many people as you can. Unless you have that obligation that you're a sworn officer of some sort, get out of there. You'll make it worse because if you're trudging around inside an area, say that an active shooter has been reported, and you're trudging around, nobody knows that you're not the active shooter.
Now that's gonna be a different show, actor shooter. We're gonna
We
bring
can
that
add
show
that
back.
too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But let's talk about females.
Mm-hmm.
Females do a lot of off the body carry because they don't want to mess up their girlish figure. And so but there are designing a lot of holsters for women who can still look feminine and still carry firearms. They have the bra holster, the one that goes into the bra for small firearm, not for 1911. You'd be thrown up in there,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right.
And in the same, I think for the high thigh one, that one lady came out with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
She
could.
proved them wrong though. I will give her full credit. There was like one guy came hard at her and said that
Oh no, she don't own the company. It's
no no
another
no
lady.
no.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, no,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about the one. I don't remember all the names
Oh,
involved, but
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
she
Yeah, that's
came
what I was
out, she
about.
showed it,
I,
and then got another big name guy came sweeping in saying that it's dumb, and then she gonna
and
shoot
she
herself,
drew
and the
from it.
barrels hot and all that stuff, and then she came out, fired 10 rounds, and put the gun back away, and was like, what? So
Right.
but the thing also that I'm noticing is that a lot of ladies are carrying, I'm gonna say it normally, and
On their hip.
wearing holsters as
Right.
opposed to just dropping a gun in a bag. But that was a big wave of women that were getting trained, and now we're going back to another new wave of ladies that need to get a clue, and they're just wanting to drop it in the bottom of a bag. I'm telling
Right.
you, trust Al when he's done this. I've seen it. This is the way we grab things here
Yeah.
in this country.
Right.
You reach for it, you're going to put all your fingers and you're going to reach in for that gun and you're going to grip it because you're going to be under tension, you're going to be scared,
Stress. You're gonna
and
be
you're
under
going to
stress.
snatch
Right.
that trigger and it's going to go
And it's
off
gonna go
inside the
off.
bag and
Right.
more than likely in the wrong damn direction.
Right. And they even had an incident where a lady it was here in Georgia several years ago. She had a firearm in her bag, and I think she had dropped her bag because she had a lot of groceries and stuff. Dropped her bag, gun goes off, and ends up shooting and killing somebody.
Damn.
And so it's just a freak accident, but she
Eyeliner
didn't.
pencil can get inside the trigger.
Yeah.
Once it crosses that trigger, you drop it, it's going to cause the gun to fire.
Hmm.
It's you ever see these guys and they do the videos, what's it called? Like the unboxing guns, and they take a wooden dowel, and the gun's cleared, of course. And they take a wooden dowel and they stick the dowel in to keep the gun propped. So basically using leverage so that the dowel goes through and it holds the gun up.
Hmm.
That's the same thing that can happen inside of a purse with a lipstick, eyeliner, as I just said, a pen.
Yeah.
Any of those things can cause a gun to fire. Hell, the whole damn the Blackhawk holster. I forgot the name of it. I'm not real good with products, but that Blackhawk holster, the Fed guy got his jacket stuck into the holster. It fired because he shoved it in. Nobody else used that holster. That was one idiot that made a mistake. And that Blackhawk holster just went down the tubes. It was a decent holster. It was the one with the first one where you reached down and grabbed the gun and you activated the
Oh, I've seen
release with your
people.
finger.
But I've seen people, those holsters. I've seen somebody take that holster and when they come up, their finger it goes in the because they had to do the release and they didn't have enough control to keep their finger straight.
Right.
So when they come up, their fingers like this and it goes straight into this trigger and they get a discharge right off. So it comes out.
As you said several times just now, that means it was a human being, not the
Yes.
holster.
Right. It wasn't a holster. It's a human being. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that holster.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see. There we go. Serpa. Thank you, man.
From Black
Oh my
Hawk.
goodness.
Yeah.
We, definitely. That's it. And
Yeah. We're
the
old.
holster took the holster took a beat down, and
Right.
the feds put out memo after memo. One idiot fed with a jacket that got shoved into the holster where that piece was made all kind of excuses because they don't want to just man up and say I made a mistake. It's okay.
And some training classes will not allow you to have a certain holster.
Yep.
They will tell you to don't even come there with it.
Mhm.
They don't want to accidentally discharge.
The damn thing was outlawed.
Yeah, it was. So they went out of business over it. I never owned one, so I didn't feel.
I got all the Kydex and Thermomold and all the name, basically the same damn product, same material. I think I have one of each of them. I mean, the quality stuff. After a while, you got to go find your niche. Thigh holsters and drop legs and things like that. Try them all, bro. I even have it was a nylon one made by Safariland, where for the Beretta, the holster was literally this wide. It was this wide, and you put the holster in, or put the gun in, and you had to turn it towards your body
to get it out.
To release. Yeah, I was on bike patrol back then, and we wore those holsters, and we got a drop leg for it later on, and you'd had a strap. Yeah, we had a strap around the leg with this shoebox for a holster. And I'm telling you, man, but that was the evolution of holsters, and not only with law enforcement, but also with civilians, because most times civilians follow what police and military do when it comes to quote unquote tactical carry.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They definitely do. So, but a lot of females are, like you said, they're carrying on their body. I see a lot of them carrying concealed. They're carrying on their hips.
You have to adapt.
Appendix carry. Appendix carry is ideal for female. So I don't know why more of them don't do it. I mean, they're built for appendix carry, and they can sit down with that firearm, and it's not an issue, not a problem. And they can draw it very easily. And as long as they don't have a big gut, you know what I'm saying? And
I've seen a couple of males that have big guts, and they show you how to appendix carry. Depends on the size of the gun. Anything bigger than a Glock 19 or the Smith & Wesson M&P compact, anything bigger than that, you're not gonna get that in there.
If your stomach's resting on the gun, you should be carrying. You remember how you gotta move your shirt, right? So you gotta move you gotta do a double move. You gotta do the shirt and your
lift
stomach.
up and then pull. Lift up, pull. Do you ever see the guy that's this big guy? I mean, he's got to be close to 500 pounds, and he's a funny dude. He shoots guns, mostly rifles and shotguns. He literally is so big that his girth, he's hiding. I thought it was a shockwave. He's literally hiding like a 590.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and he
stomach.
up his stomach.
Yes, and pulls out a full-size shotgun, right? Like 18-inch barrel. I'm like, dude, you imagine walking past that guy and just think, oh, he doesn't have a gun, and then turn around and there he is pointing or doing the pull-up to get that full 5-round shotgun out.
I know I wouldn't touch it because it's gonna be all sweaty. You're gonna have all kinds of
mold
on it.
You guys get CSI to come out here and collect that.
Nope. Now that shotgun gonna smell like old bologna. No thanks. No. I'll pass.
That was a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show, I mean, but if there's a will, there's a way. If somebody wants to carry appendix style and they got 12, 13 inches of girth, they can get it done.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
and especially with like what you were saying earlier, ladies pretty much a shoe-in for appendix carry.
Yes.
You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, I tried it and I didn't like it. I mean,
mm-hmm.
it was very uncomfortable for me. Then when you put Kydex next to my skin, it was
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh my God, I wanted to throw that Kydex away.
What I
You
found
know?
out is the size of the gun. So a lot of these guys, especially like robust men guys, they'll carry guns that are a little bit more on the lines of subcompact, not just a compact. So
I always like full frame. I'm a full
right,
frame person.
exactly, and
Yeah.
that's the same thing with me. But I see a lot of guys will compromise. They say that it's speed as well as portability, and that's your choice. And
Hmm.
that's another thing, as you said it earlier in reference to finding the right gun. You also have to find the right holster and find the right combination of off-body carry if that's what you choose to do, because it's
Right.
not a one stop fit all, not one shop fit
Mm-mm.
all.
No,
You got
no.
to find what's right for you. One of the good things that you can do is there's a lot of forums out there where people are selling used gear, and try some
Hmm.
of this stuff and see what you like and what you don't like.
Right.
You
And
know,
and if you just want to get gutsy, like what we do is buy custom gear,
right?
and
Hmm.
we have a guy that makes our stuff for us personally. And
Yep.
I-
It's
yeah,
expensive, but
yeah.
you're getting what you want. You ask for. You literally can say, I don't want this. I want a sweat guard that's 5 inches high, and he's like,
Hmm.
all right, you want a sweat
Yeah.
guard, want
Right.
no sweat guard. All right,
Right.
whatever it
Right.
is that you want. You want the front of it, or I only want 2 inches of that front wraparound. All right,
Hmm.
whatever you want. You're paying
Right.
for it, but
Right.
you are going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing as far as pricing. Some of these quality holsters, especially custom, there's a couple of companies that still have waiting lists, like 6 weeks waiting lists, have nothing to do with COVID or the logistics shortage. They just have 6 weeks backup all the time because they're such a high quality product. They're charging $120 for that appendix with the attachment for spare magazine and a claw on the back of the holster. And that's another thing. Sometime maybe we'll do another video or just talk about holsters to let people understand, the dynamics of the holster, because you can go and get a holster off the shelf and have the worst time. Somebody else may get the exact same holster and have a great
Have the
time with
best
it.
time.
Yep.
Right.
So it depends on what it is and you can make some of these things work for you, but you have to do the research. As Al said a number of times tonight, you have to do the research. You have to go look, whether it's YouTube, forums, talk to people at the local range that you go to. Everybody's willing to help you if you just ask a few questions.
Hmm. Right. Or get with some of your gun buddies, a gun
Hmm.
club, and just get and sit down and talk with those guys, and they'll tell you if it's a piece of crap or if you should buy it or not. And
Right.
there's a lot of resources out here to help people today, and what we did not have back in the day, because I didn't have the internet. I didn't have the internet until the 1990s,
Hmm.
and a lot of you cats today growing up with the internet. I didn't grow up with the internet, so I had to learn it by talking to people. So
Well, back then it was carrier pigeons.
carrier pigeons. Okay, cockroaches with
Yeah,
cockroaches.
what they say in jail, you said you had to send a kite.
Yeah, yeah, a kite.
You had to send a kite.
Right. So thank you again, everybody, for tonight's show. And it was another excellent show. Thank you guys for the input and the questions. And we finally got all the audio bugs and stuff worked out. And you got anything, Al? You wanna say-
Absolutely, we'll be out
Oh,
there on the range. Keep doing what you do. Practice. Find a dry fire. That's my next one. For next week, I'm gonna talk about dry fire. Find a dry fire routine and stick with it. You'll get better. Promise.
and also, too, for everybody who watches on YouTube, share, like, and so to pull us up in the
Algorithm.
algorithm. And I don't think you
Algorithm.
Algorithm. And you can't do that. Stop.
Algo is no rhythm.
Yeah, you can't do that on Twitch, I don't think, but I think you can like it on Facebook too. So thank you again.
Yep.
And like I said, we'll see you guys in the range, and it's getting ready to get hot, and training time's getting ready to start coming up here pretty soon. So you're gonna see us all out there pretty soon.
Yep.
So see you next week.
See you next week, guys.